The countdown to kickoff continues, and there is no doubt you can find Bills fans in all walks of life. Right now, I am joined by Luke Russert, a passionate member of Bills Mafia. He is a journalist, an author, and the son of the late Tim Russert, a Western New York native and longtime moderator of Meet the Press. Luke, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Go Bills.
Yeah, go Bills. You are decked out, ready for this game. We find ourselves with a familiar foe. Before we get into this playoff matchup, how are you feeling about this Bills team?
Oh, I love this Bills team. I think they're very resilient. I was fortunate enough to be at the game in Tampa when they had that second half comeback. And since they did that, I have felt very confident. They have yet to play a complete game. Usually the offense is doing well and the defense falters or vice versa. I think if they could put together a complete and total football game, a total 60 minutes, they could definitely win the Super Bowl. But since that second half, in Tampa Bay, when they almost came back and knocked off Tom Brady, and quite frankly should have had the officials been in any way fair, I've been very confident on the Bills. I am high on the Bills, and I think they're going to take care of business on Saturday night against New England. It's always a little bit scary to play against Bill Belichick, but hey, to get to the promised land, you have to go over your toughest opponents from the past, and I think they're going to do it.
Now, I have to ask you, your love for the Bills was instilled in you by your father, and he passionately loved this team and loved the Queen City. What do you think he would have to say about this Bills run?
Oh, he'd be so thrilled, and he'd be so happy because no other team in the NFL personifies their community like the Buffalo Bills. And that was something that he was so passionate about. You know, if you go around the country and you have New York or Los Angeles or Miami, there's a lot going on in those cities. There's a lot that people do. They don't necessarily live and die by their football team. Whereas in Buffalo, it is so very important. And the players understand that too. They become members of the community. You have great stories like Isaiah McKenzie going over and getting dinner from a family because he was hungry after dropping off his dog. I mean, it's just incredible things like that. So my father would be so proud of this team, so proud of what the Pagulas have been able to do with McBean and McDermott. It's just been absolutely incredible.
So let's talk about this duel. It is the big tiebreaker. This is going to be the first playoff game with a full house at Highmark Stadium in many years. Does it almost seem like it's destiny that it's going to be against the Bills' biggest rival?
It has to, not to mention the fact that it's going to be, a high of 14 degrees I read today and a low of 5.
Frigid.
It's going to be absolutely frigid. Look, I know there are some folks, and me included a little bit last weekend, that said, hey, maybe it'd be better to play LA because they would have to come in here and face the Bills in really frigid tundra conditions. But listen, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the Patriots have had our number for many years, but hey, that was in the early 2000s, and that was in the teens. The Bills are the team of the 20s. We won the AFC East in 2020. We won it in 2021. Let's keep that streak going, and let's beat them for all their worth. Let's just hope the officiating is fair on Saturday night. That's the one thing you always have to look at with the Patriots, along with the nefarious things they do as well.
All right, Luke, we'll end up with this. You've touched on this. Your career in life has taken you all across the world. You've traveled to over 60 countries. You've even ran into Bills fans in your travels. What is it about Bills Mafia that makes them really a different breed? What would you say to them before this big game?
No other fan base shows up like the Bills Mafia. And when I say show up, it's not only in Buffalo, but also around the world. I've met Bills fans in Dubai. I've met Bills fans in Cape Town, South Africa. I've met Bills fans in Colombia. We are literally everywhere. And I honestly say that if you look at the 4 major sports leagues, there is not a more passionate fan base than the Buffalo Bills. The reason why is what I said earlier. It is the community. People love it. And by the way, who doesn't like chicken wings? Who doesn't like some of that blue light? And who doesn't like going through a table after a massive playoff victory like we're going to do on Saturday night against the Patriots?
Luke, you put it perfectly. I couldn't agree with you more. That is all the time we have. Thank you again for joining us, and of course, go Bills.
Go Bills.